The Pyramids of Egypt, arguably one of the most impressive structures built by the ancient Egyptians, yet surprisingly, they were mostly built in the Old Kingdom and a little bit in the Middle Kingdom. The pyramids were resting places for the pharaohs who had died and were said to have been shaped in such a way to represent the rays of sunshine coming down from the sun that they worshipped as a god. Some people believe that they were also shaped in this way to guide the spirit of the pharaoh up into the heavens when he died. The pyramids were built on the west side of the Nile River. This is because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. To the Egyptians, this was a perfect metaphor for life and death, the sun rising being life and the sun setting being death, which is why they built all of their places for the dead on the west side and all of their places for life on the east side. The oldest known pyramid to have been built in Egypt was built in 2630 BC in Saqqara for a king called Djoser. But the most impressive and well-known pyramids are of course the Pyramids of Giza, remaining a wonder of our ancient world. These three giant pyramids were built to remain forever. The largest of all is the Great Pyramid, built for King Khufu and standing at 147 meters. To put that into perspective, that's almost as big as your average skyscraper. The Great Pyramid was built with about 2.3 million giant stone blocks, each weighing about 2.5 tons. That's almost as heavy as your average elephant. What's up? I'm here at the Pyramids of Giza. The Pyramids of Giza were made out of humongous limestone rocks like these ones beside me. So it really is a mystery of how these ancient people managed to move such enormous rocks with such little technology. The Egyptians used a rock called granite and a rock called limestone to make these giant blocks. The Great Pyramid was then covered in a limestone casing. This was so that it would reflect the sun so that people could see it from very far away with a brilliant white colour. So if the Egyptians were in the middle of a desert, where did all these rocks and stones come from to build this giant pyramid? The stones and rocks were likely transported from mountains down the Nile River to where they wanted to build the pyramids. The building and construction of these magnificent pyramids was so precise so that each block could be fitted perfectly into the other. In fact, these giant blocks were so perfectly fit together that even to this day, a credit card can't be fit between them. The top of the pyramids once had a giant capstone on top of it that have since been lost. There are different ideas from what the capstone was made from. Some people believe that it was made from solid gold and was robbed a long time ago. But the truth is, we may never know. Beside Khufu's Great Pyramid was the second largest pyramid in Egypt, belonging to his son, King Khafre, who was also responsible for building that giant stone sphinx with the body of a lion and his own head on top. The smallest of the three pyramids is the Pyramid of Menkaure, standing at 65 meters tall. Much smaller pyramids can also be found dotted around these three giant pyramids. These were built as tombs for the pharaoh's queens and mothers. If these giant pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, then there must be a passageway inside, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. Time to go inside. Come with me.
So right now, we're going into the ancient pyramids of Giza.
The roof is very low down, and the reason for that is so that we are bowing down to the pharaoh as we come to enter his tomb. Here we are in the tomb of the pharaoh. It's a little bit eerie. I really hope the entrance doesn't close over. This casket behind me is where the mummy of the pharaoh was laid to rest. Little bit creepy. Inside the pyramid was a long corridor that went deeper and deeper into the ground. Eventually this corridor came to a chamber in the center of the pyramid. Deep inside this chamber was the tomb of the pharaoh, filled with many objects and treasures that they believed the pharaoh would need in the afterlife. In something called a stone sarcophagus, sarcophagus, sarcophagus. In something called a stone sarcophagus is where the body of the pharaoh would have been laid to rest. Unfortunately, none of these things were found in the Pyramids of Giza, because the treasure and even the mummies themselves were likely stolen a long time ago by grave robbers. Recap time. The pyramids of Egypt were built as tombs for the pharaohs, but were also said to have been shaped in a way to guide the spirit of the pharaoh up into the heavens. The pyramids of Egypt were built from a rock called granite and a rock called limestone. King Khufu's Great Pyramid is the tallest of the Egyptian pyramids, and the second largest belongs to his son King Khafre, who was also responsible for building the amazing stone Sphinx. And so we've come to the end of our video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and check out some of the other videos on my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.